Question is, did his answers satisfy the chairman of that committee? And here to tell us is Congressman Paul Kanjorski, the chairman of the Capital Markets Subcommittee, who joined us yesterday. And again, this morning, Congressman, good morning to you.
Good morning, Carl.
Your point yesterday was, look, this is about more than these bonuses. It's about the good work that might be prevented as a result down the road if we're still trying to save banks months from now. Did he quiet the storm to the degree where you think that is still a possibility?
Well, Carl, we'll have to see how it affects the general public and the members of Congress. I can't quite discern whether he made any points. Of course, he doesn't have to satisfy me. I'm interested in the second rescue package if we need it, and how we get the votes to pass it if and when we need it. And to that extent, I think it's going to take a little time, but of course the market going up the last week and the optimism I'm starting to sense just on your program and among your discussers alone is very good, and I think maybe the springtime, maybe we're apt to see a little hope out there on the horizon, and that would be very good for everyone, because after all, a good part of this is psychology.
I was going to say, maybe the pink ladies with their pink signs, maybe that was a sign that the mood got about as foul as it can get, although you gave him a hard time.
I gave him a hard time. I hope my mother doesn't disapprove of that.
Are you impressed with some of the anecdotes of executives who are giving all or some of their bonuses back, including the one gentleman who is giving back the biggest bonus of $6 million?
That's wonderful, and that's an act of patriotism. And someone commented to me just a little earlier, wouldn't it be nice that rather than asking to disclose the names of the people that aren't going to be too active and patriotic that way, that we talk about how nice it would be if we could tell everybody who these patriots are giving back their money, because they really believe in America, they believe in the capitalist system, and they're making a tremendous bet. You know, handing back a bonus of that size, personal wealth of that amount, is a tremendous bet on America.
Right. Washington Post has a story this morning answering the claim that you need these executives to stay with the firm to unwind these complicated trades. And the Post's argument is by the end of December, a lot of those highly complex derivatives had actually been unwound from $78 billion down to $13 billion. Is Liddy still trying to pull one over us?
No, I think that, you know, that's his judgment. And, you know, we shouldn't all want to be or try to be CEOs of these major financial institutions that are in trouble. There are a lot of internal dynamics there that we never see and never hear of. It was a judgment call. I would not have done what Mr. Liddy did. I would have taken the route of saying, no, hell no, sue us, and then we'll find out, and if you win, we're going to shun you anyway. But that's a Pennsylvania Dutch methodology of resolving something like that. I mean, he may have said, look, I just want this problem out. I think one point that he made and brought up, we need to have rules of engagement. Everywhere I sense that all these companies and all this money that we're putting out there, a lot of people are asking what the rules are beforehand. Don't play gotcha. Don't try and make judgments on us after we've done something. Tell us what the rules of engagement are. I think it would be wise for us to take a step back for several weeks now. When I'm saying the executive branch of government, the Federal Reserve, Treasury, and Congress, and try and agree what the rules of engagements are so we don't embarrass these people or catch them off guard. They are still operating in the culture and the framework of the old organizations. If we're going to drag them into this new relationship, public-private relationship, let's make sure, just as we do for the troops when we send them into combat, what their rules of engagement are.
It's funny you put it in a military term, because we're talking with Tom Watson of Unum here on set, and one of the things that came out of yesterday's hearing is that it's not clear who is in charge of watching the flow of these funds and their billions of dollars.
Absolutely, and we've got to do that. I think that's essential. I feel sorry for some of these guys, quite frankly, and talking to them periodically as I do. They're sort of asking us, and when they're asking a Congress, okay, what are we supposed to do? I mean, I'm not a financier. I don't know their corporate businesses, and obviously they're not getting sufficient input from the people that do have the charge or trust of the responsible federal involvement in this. So we should stop, analyze that out, make the rules of engagement, let them know, and then get on. But keep our eye on the ball. We've got to save this economy. We've got to save this country, and we can do it. We're on our way to do it. Let's not set up these roadblocks and humps in the road to delay that recovery.
Congressman, this is Tom Watson. It did seem at the hearing yesterday that, in fact, part of the messaging from your committee was We want you to succeed as a company. In fact, as a taxpayer, we all want you to succeed. We've got a $170 billion investment in this enterprise, and none of us want to see that investment not reach its full value.
Absolutely. And my impression of Mr. Liddy is he wants to do the right job for the thing. Nobody takes a thankless job like he took for $1 a year who doesn't have the highest intentions. So we ought to recognize he may have made a mistake as we judge it, probably did as I judge it, but that's all done. That's over. They're going to try and recover whatever they can. Some of the folks will give the money back. Now we've got to keep our ball back on the focus, save and have the recovery for the economy.
Congressman Kanjorski, I know you've said that we need to step back and give these companies some time to figure out how to operate in this new environment, but there is a story out this morning about Citigroup and some remodeling of the CEO's office, Vikram Pandit. They put a price tag of $10 million on it. What do you think when you hear things like that being released in these SEC's filings?
Well, Becky, of course, I don't like to jump to judgment without the facts. Maybe we should constrain ourselves from doing that. It's very tempting to do it. We could lace out at these fellows, but the reality is that's their culture. And maybe